It's Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we have the latest Seahawks news and rumors. Going to be talking about a D Eskridge trade. Possible. We'll examine that. Also, could the Seahawks bring back Shelby Harris? And I have a couple potential breakout veterans to watch. We'll tell you what former Seahawks quarterback Brock Huard had to say coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, we are on the verge of 38,500 subscribers here on the channel, just a little over 100 away now, 115 to be exact. I would love to reach this next milestone to continue growing this channel as we bring you daily videos covering your favorite team. We're doing live shows on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And not to mention, we'll do our watch parties during the season as well. If you are a diehard Seahawks fan, this is the channel for you. You got to subscribe now for free today. You'll be glad you did. Let's get started with today's show. The Athletic has named Dee Eskridge as a top trade target for the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, the reigning champions of the NFC could be in the market for Dee Eskridge. And I know what you're thinking. Why the Eagles? What is it? Why would they want Dee Eskridge? What do they have to offer for Dee Eskridge? Let's examine from the Athletic's Bull Wolf here. The Seattle Seahawks used their second-round pick on Western Michigan's Dee Eskridge at 5'9", 190 pounds, and he has just 17 catches for 122 yards in 2 seasons and looks out of the picture after Seattle drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba to complement DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Now, they used that second-round pick a couple of years ago, obviously. And I'll say this. When it comes to a trade, whether the Eagles or whoever is that could be interested in Dee Eskridge, I don't see there being a huge market potentially for Dee Eskridge of getting back necessarily what you put in. Remember, the Seahawks spent a second-round pick on Dee Eskridge, and at best, I think you're looking at probably a 6th or 7th round pick you're getting in return. To me, I rather just say, you know what? Why not just give Dee one more shot rather than just getting a throwaway pick at that point, sometime in the 6th or 7th round? To me, I rather basically just look at Dee as a guy that's a 6th or 7th round pick. I rather have that than the pick itself, personally. Give him one more go at it. And think about this with Dee Eskridge. This is a guy that's very versatile. Okay, I know that he hasn't seen the field a whole lot in Seattle, but when he was at Western Michigan, he was playing wideout. He was playing corner. He was a kick returner. He led all of college football, the FBS, in 2020 in all-purpose yards. He's been used a multitude of ways. And so I know that you hear, as what was brought on the screen there, what the Athletic mentioned about, hey, he's sliding down the depth chart for the Seahawks and all that. I know that that's going to be the headline grabber, but for Seattle, what I'm looking at is finding ways to just get him on the field one way or the other, whether it's the kick return game, special teams. Maybe you play him at corner potentially. Well, although you're pretty good at that position, but you get the idea. Maybe it's not necessarily a priority that he has to be at wide receiver, but just find a way. I would be willing just to see what you have when he's healthy and if he can get out there and make a difference maker. To me, that's worth more than just a throwaway late-round pick as far as I'm concerned. Now, everything's all about the Benjamins, right? Think about this. The contract situation for Dee Eskridge right now. 2 years, $3.5 million remaining at this point in time. If a trade were to be made, you would save roughly $3 million over the next 2 seasons. You'd have a dead cap hit under $900,000. So you'd save a little bit, and you get a late-round pick. But to me, I understand where the frustrations are with Dee Eskridge. Has he been a disappointment? Yes, he has. But with that said, I would at least give it a go one more time. We've heard all the reports out of OTAs in this offseason that he's looked pretty good. Let's see if the Seahawks hang on to him and give him another chance or not, or if they potentially trade him to a team like Philly for a late-round pick of some sort. Should the Seahawks trade Dee Eskridge? What do you think about this possibility of sending him to a team like the Philadelphia Eagles? Type T for trade, type K for keep. Let me know what you think. Should Seattle trade Dee Eskridge or not? Let us know. T for trade, K for keep. Staying on the rumors front, we move to free agency now. And could we see a return for Shelby Harris to the Seattle Seahawks? As rumors are circulating on if the Seahawks will re-sign Shelby Harris or not. Listen to this from the Seattle Times. The defensive line, to reiterate, is the one position that the Seahawks appear sure to try to continue to address, though at this point, probably not until around the time training camp begins or maybe later. So I think it remains an option that Harris could re-sign. But for now, I also don't know if it will happen. So that's what the Seattle Times had to say. But they weren't the only ones that brought up the possibility this week of Shelby Harris returning. Field Goals, the SB Nation site covering the Seahawks, also had this to say about the possibility. One of the most productive returns from the dangerous trade with the Denver Broncos was interior defensive lineman Shelby Harris. Our Seattle Seahawks had some notable issues on defense last season, of course. Harris was not one of them. Having substantially released him, Shelby remains unsigned with a position group that could use the reinforcements. The Seahawks certainly could use him. So here's the deal. I don't see any reason why you would not want to bring back Shelby Harris at this point in time. If the Seahawks really want him, they can get him, and enough time has gone where the market price, I don't think, is going to be that demanding for Shelby Harris. And the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to depth and having playmakers and guys that you can rotate on this defensive line. To me, bringing back Shelby Harris makes a lot of sense as far as I'm concerned. And the numbers back this up here, folks. Listen to this. If you go back to last season, Pro Football Focus, the way they graded out Shelby Harris, his overall grade on defense, 73.2. Run defense grade. We've talked a lot about that here on the channel, of the issues with run defense, right? Shelby Harris was one of the few bright spots for the Seahawks last year on run defense with a grade near 77, okay? I like this idea of bringing Shelby Harris back. He's a good teammate, good locker room guy. You never heard a negative thing about Shelby Harris. To me, it just makes sense to get this job done and help out your biggest issue when it comes to run defense as far as I'm concerned. The numbers from Shelby Harris the last couple of seasons. Last year played in 15 games, had 44 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. 2021 had 49 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, and 6 sacks, 1 forced fumble. You can see that the sack number did go down a little bit, but the grades were solid there. He was doing more than maybe what the numbers indicated as far as Shelby Harris goes. So, what would you do? In the words of John Quinones, what would you do? Should the Seahawks re-sign Shelby Harris or not? Weigh in the comment section and let me know. Y for yes, in for no. Should the Seahawks re-sign Shelby Harris or not? Weigh in the comment section. Tell me what you think one way or the other. Y for yes, in for no. Should the Seahawks re-sign Shelby Harris or not? Let me know what you think. The 4th of July is just around the corner. And good news, Seahawk fans. We have patriotic Seahawks gear. No, not New England Patriots. No, the Seattle Seahawks. You can rock out with your hawk out, representing the stars and stripes and your favorite team all at the same time. We have these shirts available on sale now, right in time for the 4th of July, at chatsports.com/SeahawksUSA. And one of the things that I've been telling people about this and some of the other things that we're offering here, folks, is that, you know, when we do these sales, you know, like Christmas time or St. Patrick's Day, you know, those are stuff that you can only wear certain times a year. There's never a bad time to represent the red, white, and blue and your favorite team. This shirt you can wear even after the 4th of July, all year long. Chatsports.com/SeahawksUSA. Get yours today while supplies last. That's chatsports.com/SeahawksUSA. All right, let's talk about breakout veterans now. Former Seahawks quarterback Brock Huard, who works for Fox Sports covering college football, and also does a great job talking about the Seattle Seahawks and covering the sports scene there in Seattle. He was talking about 2 defensive players to watch for the Seahawks in 2023 that need to have breakout campaigns as veterans, that need to bounce back of some sorts. And this is what Brock had to say here, folks. Jamal has got to have that comeback player of the year kind of season after 2 seasons riddled with injuries and being just a non-factor. So he's the guy. And I'll say the other one that's intriguing to me is Devin Bush. When I called his games at Michigan, he was an alpha man. With all that the Seahawks have invested in Jamal Adams and in Devin Bush both, they have to step up. They have to make that leap. Think about Devin Bush. His best season was his rookie season. He's looked worse ever since. Now, part of that could be on the Steelers, could be some other issues, whatever it may be. But you got to see more out of Devin Bush. He's got to take a step up and play at a high level. In Jamal Adams' case, be available, be healthy, and be the Pro Bowl caliber player that we once saw. And he very well could be the NFL's comeback player of the year. To me, I think Brock is spot on. Both these guys need to bounce back as far as I'm concerned. Name a breakout veteran for the Seahawks this season. Name a player that you think needs to step up and bounce back and be an impact player for this Seahawks team. Give me one player that comes to mind in the comment section below. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. That's where you can find me talking about your Seahawks there. I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.